Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review. Hope y'all enjoyed my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which was not a revisit review. We'll not be doing no more revisit reviews right now on this channel. Again, guys, remember, it's the Levi McNally 983. That's the name of my channel here with a mass profile picture on it. Now, you can watch videos from my other channel, but don't subscribe. Stay subscribed to this one with the mass profile picture. And guys, thank you for the 230 subs. Um, I lost my job the other day because I lost my temper. Yes, I did something real stupid. Yeah, and I worked out on the job that I couldn't just handle, but hopefully I'll be getting a job soon. I got a job interview tomorrow. Well, that will be more money, so I'm gonna keep on trying to get jobs and stuff. Hopefully better jobs too, to make money. Your fast food is not really the best place to make money, especially if you want to live by yourself or have your own place one day. Yeah, fast food is probably not the best. But anyway, enough about that. I want to get into that. I just want to Well, like I said, I hope you all enjoyed my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And guys, you're always welcome to share my channel. Always share my videos. Anytime I share it on my Facebook page, you can share it on your Instagram page, story, whatever, Facebook story. I'd appreciate it, you know. Or you can share it on your channel if you want to. Or, well, you don't have to do that, but, sharing or mentioning my name to people, that would be real awesome, you know. I wouldn't mind sharing videos of my friends here on YouTube, you know. Yeah, because it's all about being supportive, you know. But I do appreciate the support, guys. And thank you for the 24,000K views on the Adventures of the Sharp Boy and Lava Girl, which I didn't do for attention, but I do hate that movie. Remember, guys, my reviews are 100% purely, it's just my opinion. 100% of it is just my opinion. 100%, I mean all of it, it's just my opinion. My perspective. Not yours, mine. That's just my video, my channel, my voice, my opinion. Okay? All I ask you is that you respect my opinion and I respect yours. No matter what movie we're talking, TV show, whatever, it's just my opinion. But anyway, on to the next review. Guys, y'all know I've been doing a superhero marathon on my YouTube channel, and I've been doing what I call the 2010s era superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out in 2010 decades, starting with 2010 to 2019, and we're in the year 2017. I believe we have this one. I believe I have three more movies to go after this. Just three more to go, and then we'll be on the year 2018. But this film came out in 2017. This is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gail Gadot. This is the fourth film in the DCU. First three were Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad. That came out in 2016. This came out in 2017. This film was released in June 2nd, 2017, and that is Wonder Woman. Which surprisingly, I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed Man of Steel too, despite the issues. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, I was disappointed with. Yeah, I'm still hesitant to watch the Ultimate Edition. I still will, but regardless, that film is still a disappointment in my opinion. But maybe my opinion will change when I watch the Ultimate Edition. And also, I can barely even talk. I'm sorry. I can barely talk. Anyway, Suicide Squad sucked. This was definitely better than Suicide Squad. This is very enjoyable. I really enjoy Gail Gadot's performance. I know people don't like her as an actress. I get it. I wouldn't say she's an Oscar winner actress, but she is beautiful. And she's just. I think she's Israel or is from Israel. Well, she's from different countries. That's why she talks a little different. But I thought she was good as Wonder Woman. I thought she had the charm, the charisma. I thought she had screen presence. So you're going to disagree with me, but this is definitely one of my favorite superhero movies. This is definitely better than, in my opinion, than Supergirl. I'm sorry, I think it's better than Supergirl 1984. Yeah, I'm not saying this film is like one of the best superhero movies ever made. No, but I do think it's one of the best films in the DCU, in my opinion. Is it my favorite? I wouldn't say so far. No, that'd probably be Shazam, first Shazam. But this is definitely one of my top five favorites of the DCU films or DC movies in general. I would say Batman and Batman Returns are better. I would say I like Tank Girl more than this. How bizarre that is. I like Laura Petty as an actress better than Gal Gadot. And I like Black Scorpion more than this. That's an underrated movie from 1995. And but again, no. Well, if I had a choice, I'd probably watch this over Supergirl. And I like Captain Marvel just as much. They're both very entertaining movies in my opinion, but I do have my issues with it. I'm not gonna sit here and say this is a perfect movie. It's not. But anyway, let's get into the review. Yeah. Remember, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Yeah. If you hate the movie, that's fine. The production. Development for a live-action Wonder Woman feature began in 1996, which Ivan Reitman attached as producer and possible director. The late Ivan Reitman, the same guy who directed Ghostbusters 1 and 2 and Kindergarten Cop and Dave and Junior and Draft Day. Yeah, may he rest in peace. Attached as producer and possible director. But I guess that didn't happen because back then, yeah, you had the Batman movies going on. Like you had Batman Forever that came out the year previous. Batman Forever was a big hit, but I guess not enough for it to make them a Wonder Woman movie yet. 1999, the project became attached to Joan Cohen, who adapted Wonder Woman for producer Joel Silver, with the hope that Sandra Bullock would star. By 2001, Tyler Claude was hired to write the screenplay, with Silver Pictures backing the project. At that time, Mariah Carey and Catherine Zeta-Jones were also rumored to be possible candidates for the role of Wonder Woman, which, to be honest, I can't see them as. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Catherine Zeta-Jones. Mariah Carey, I think, is overrated, but Sandra Bullock as a superhero, I guess. Maybe as a vigilante, I can see her as a vigilante type character in a movie, but not Wonder Woman. Catherine Zeta-Jones, she was good in the Masters of Horror movies. Leonardo Gilbert focused on Bullock, who said that she was approached for the role. Lucy Lawless, the star of Xena Warrior Princess, was also in consideration. I could probably see her as the character. Let's just say she would have been more interested if Wonder Woman was portrayed as a flawed hero. The screenplay went through 5 scripts, written by Cohen, Becky Johnson, and Philip Stevens. And by August 2003, Levinson had been replaced by screenwriter Lita Corlett. In 2005, same year Batman Begins came out, by the way, and so Pictures announced that Josh Whedon would write and direct the film. Josh Whedon, the same man who directed Avengers, the first Avengers movie in 2012, and Avengers Age of Ultron. Wait a minute, he may not have directed that. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy. He didn't direct that. Yeah, okay, yeah, he did. I'm sorry. Yeah, the same man who made the Avengers films, Avengers Age of Ultron. So, yeah. But maybe it was before that. You know. Well, like I said, the 2005, that was even before a time before the MCU began. But you did have Batman Begins that came out that year, and that was a huge hit. You know, I guess they said, well, we don't know if we can trust Josh Whedon. Maybe at the time it just early drafts of his screenplay included Steve Trevor as the narrator. A first battle between Diana and her mother over Trevor's welfare, and after leaving them scare, he frequently rescued Diana, rendered by helpless. And this is before he directed the Avengers. This is before the MCU ever came out. Whedon was not able to complete a final version of his screenplay and left the project in 2007. Maybe the studio just didn't trust him at the time. There were issues, complicated issues. But again, this was before the Avengers, so they probably, it was way before the MCU ever came into being. A day before Whedon's departure, though, Wonder Woman from the movie Wonder Woman, Warner Brothers and Silver Pictures produced a script for the film written by Matthew Jensen and Brent Strickland, set during World War II. The script impressed executives at Silver Pictures. However, Silver said that he had purchased the script because he did not want the rights for writing, while saying the script had good ideas. Silver did not want the film to be a period piece. In that same year, Warner Brothers they began development of Justice League film, with Michelle Lee writing the screenplay. The film entitled Justice League Moral was to be directed by George Miller and would be featured Wonder Woman in her cinematic debut. Australian model Megan Gill was still cast in the role in June 2008. The film would later be cancelled following production delays and budgetary concerns. By 2008, Silver hired Jensen and Strickland to write a new script in times that would not disrupt Wonder Woman's origins but explore Paradise Island's history. In 2010, Warner Brothers stated that a Wonder Woman film was in development, along with films based on DC Comics superheroes like The Flash and Aquaman. Both Wonder Woman and Aquaman were still under consideration for solo films as of June 2013. Year before Dark Knight Rises came out, that was a hit, so definitely they were going. And The Dark Knight came out in 2008, so I hate Dark Knight Rises, but that movie, and then Dark Knight 2008, which I think is alright as a film. I love Heath Ledger's show, but anyway, regardless, those films made billions of dollars to box office, so of course they wanted to. DC wanted to make some films at the time. DC Entertainment President Diane Nelson said, Wonder Woman has been since I started one of the top 3 priorities for DC and for Warner Brothers. We're still trying right now, but she's tricky. On October 5th, 2013, Chairman and CEO Kevin Tennant said he wanted to get Wonder Woman any film or on TV. Shortly afterwards, Paul Feig said he was pitched the studio an idea for Wonder Woman as an action comedy film. The studio then began to search for female directors to direct the film. Michelle McLaren, who was the studio's choice to direct the film, she was intentionally indicated interest, so she initially left the project due to creative differences. Patty Jenkins accepted an offer to direct Wonder Woman based on a screenplay by Alan Hemberg and a story co-written by Hemberg and Zack Snyder. Snyder, who of course directed Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Screenwriter Alan Hemberg's work had been finished and rewritten by Jenkins, and he had left with work on a TV show. Producer Charles Robin said that the duo had done a tremendous amount of collaboration. Johns was intentionally given screenplay credit by the studio, but was left out to the official credits by the Ouija version. For a long time, people didn't know how to approach the story. When Patty and I had our great conversations about the character, we realized that Diana can still be a normal woman, one with very high values, but still a woman. She can be sensitive, she's smart, independent, and emotional. She can be confused, she can lose her confidence, she can have confidence, she's everything. She has a human heart. The version of Wonder Woman acts as the character's origin story and serves as a spin-off, marking the fourth installment in the DCU. The character made her debut in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, of course played by Gal Gadot, placing Wonder Woman in 1910s in World War One. Which you get to see that if you've seen the end of Batman v Superman. We do see a picture of that as well. When Bruce Wayne, Batman, investigates her, where she supported the Allies during World War II. Director Jenkins drew inspiration from William Mulder Martin's 1940 stories and George Perez and 1980s. I think they also took some inspiration from Captain America, the First Avenger, that came out in 2011 as well. The film also incorporates elements from DC Comics' Origin Changes New 52 reboot, where Diane is the daughter of Zeus. James credited Richard Donner Superman as a influence on the film's tone and storytelling, which a lot of superhero film directors who direct superhero movies they do take inspiration. Bryan Singer has, I believe. Uh, Burton probably has well. Even Christopher Nolan has taken inspiration from him. Jenkins knows that she faced pushback from the studio regarding her decision to make Wonder Woman vulnerable, as some question portraying the character were flawed rather than as really strong and perfect. Jenkins emphasized that creating a relatable character was intentional, seeing the Hunger Games as a step in changing of female leads. Get Out said the movie is a coming of age story. It's about her becoming an adult, really, from a child to an adult, and understanding the complex of life. I remember when I read in the news that Wonder Woman had been cast, and my heart sank. I'm sure we wouldn't have made the same choice. Then I started paying attention to her and watching her and looking at her, and it was just unbelievable. Personally, I think they did a better job, and I could have been, because I don't know what they would have destroyed the earth as I heard to find her. They were looking for all the same things I would look for. All the berries that Wonder Woman stands for fleeing someone honest way, and boy did they find it. She shares every quality of Wonder Woman, and that's no joke. It's one of those rare things. You need someone who can reappear to be Wonder Woman on screen. Every once in a while, there's a superhero casting that transcends because the person is also authentic to the character, that it becomes identified with them, like Linda Carter or Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve who played the Superman in the original 19 and Superman movies from the 80s, and Linda Carter played Wonder Woman in the 70s. And that's what director Pat Jenkins says. In late 2013, Zack Snyder cast Gal Gadot in the role of Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Jamie Alexander was also considered, but declined due to her contract with Marvel. Gadot also previously been offered the role of Fura in Man of Steel, but turned down due to her pregnancy. Gadot later signed a three-picture deal and received a base salary of $300,000 for the film itself. Some fans intentionally reacted to this choice by criticizing Gadot's appearance. Snyder later commented on her decision to cast Gadot, saying that he tested a bunch of actors, as you can imagine. But the thing is, Gail, she's strong, she's beautiful, and she's a kind person, which is interesting, but fierce at the same time. It's that combination of being fierce, but kind of at the same time we were looking for. Gadot described Diana as having the heart of a human, so she can be emotional, curious, compassionate, and she loves people, and that she has the power of a goddess. She's all for good, she fights for good. She said that Diana may have strengths and powers, but at the end of the day, she's a woman with a lot of emotional intelligence. And how her character is different from appearance in Batman Superman, Gadot said, well, we gotta go back 100 years to when she's more naive. Further explain, she's this young idealist, or she's pure, very different from the experience to become a grown-up woman you've seen. Gadot underwent diet and training, practiced different martial arts, and gained 17 pounds of muscle for the role. So she, there was something on my face. But yeah, apparently she worked out a lot for this film. Chris Brown was cast as Steve Trevor. He described his character as a rugged realist who's seen the awful British nature of modern civilization, and that he's a worldly guy, a charming guy. He signed a motor picture deal. Lucy Davis' performance as Ada Kennedy, first live-action cinematography portrayal of the character, as well as Elena Ennis' performance as Dr. Poison. Nicole Kidman was in negotiations for the role of Queen, but was forced to drop out. Nicole Kidman, of course, was Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Forever, but she did go on to play Aquaman's mother in the 2018 film Aquaman, so I'm glad DC didn't give up on casting her in a movie. For design, Wonder Woman features a reimagined costume by palm billing Michael Winston's original design. The updated suit retains key elements of Wonder Woman's classic look, while watching her practically. And, I like the way they did the suit. So it looks really cool. Phase strength is inspired by ancient Greek and Roman armor. Includes leather skirts, modeled, after pictures, and worn by hoplite soldiers and glided. Everything aimed to create empowering armor without fading into the sexualization. She drew inspiration from sportswear. Posed under early fixed to support the film's action sequences. She utilized body scanning technology to tell the suit to get Godot's exact measurements. We built around 160 costumes in total, highlighting the attention to detail that accompanied Diana's evolution from princess on the film's hero to warrior hero. Director Patty Jenkins phased their battle as a descendant from traditional male armor. They shouldn't be dressed in armor like men. It should be different, authentic, real, and appealing to women. Jenkins and Hemmings crafted that look that showcased the Amazon's physical strength and outfits, highlighting the tone, shoulders, and legs. Wonder Woman was to be hard to tell, fat badass, and look great at the same time. The same way when Superman had huge, yeah, okay, I get it. The film was shot on filming began on November 21st, 2015, under the work title Nightingale. Australia House, some other places they shot, some other countries. Jason was the director of photography, filming in the United Kingdom. I'm sorry, the UK, London, France, and Italy were also some parts of the movie were filmed. Filming was underway in Italy. It took place in Paris and France. Romaine Price's trip was spotted alongside Godot. Photography began on May 9th, 2016. Patty Jenkins, the director of photography, Matt Jensen. The film was inspired by painter John Senior Sargent. Jenkins says she shot the movie on film instead of visual video because there's a certain type of render you struggle very hard to get on. Find the perfect solution. Shot the Amazon island of Themyscira, the birthplace of Wonder Woman herself. The film's producers all over the world. Finally standing on the Cullinan coast, a stretch of coastline on this part of the sea. Director Patty Jenkins wanted to make a classic Richard Donner style superhero movie. The visual design of the film and phase. You see, the thing is about Richard Donner's Superman film, that film is so great, it's such a classic, it does inspire other filmmakers who direct superhero movies. You can't just tell me a lot of them do take inspiration from Donner, you know, from late Richard Donner. Yeah. The film's diversity played a role in the storytelling. Demonstrated Wonder Woman's homeland was hidden with a skies, fields, and clear waters. The beach rescues between Amazons and German soldiers showcase the team's approach to action cinematography. For the music score, Rory Greg Williams. I love that Wonder Woman, you know the Wonder Woman theme though if you heard it. And for the marketing, I do remember the trailer and stuff being out for the movie. Yeah, yeah. The superhero television Supergirl starring what's her name? Melissa Benoist, and from the marketing they used for one. There was a commercial where Supergirl Melissa Benoist, sorry, where Melissa's walking and Terry Hatcher was there. I think it was when they were doing season two because Terry Hatcher was in season two. And Linda Carter was like the president in that show in the second season of Supergirl. She was playing the president of the United States. And Linda Carter was the original Wonder Woman from the original TV series. So, she's like, oh, awesome boots. Yeah, these boots are made for walking. And yeah, the actress who plays Alex on the show, and they're wearing the Wonder Woman boots, just saying, yeah, these are my boots. And they're just marketing the movie, which is cool. Yeah. And I remember the teaser, the trailer, and trailer of Diana just, standing on the ground with her shield, you know, or Wonder Woman with her lasso of truth fighting. Yeah. I don't remember there being any food. I'm sure there were posters and stuff back then, when the movie came out in 2017. But for the cast of the movie, Gal Gadot, Diana Prince Wonder Woman, and Immortal Amazon warrior Demi Goddess, who was the crown princess of Themyscira and the daughter of Queen Epla. Diana Prince Wonder Woman. Hmm, tell me here. I ain't gonna read her comic, probably read that about anyway, but here you have the cast of the movie. Hmm. At the premiere, Gal Gadot. First time I seen her in a movie was Fast Four and Fast Five and Fast Six. Well, I didn't see that in theaters, but nor did I see Fast Five or Four in theaters. Yeah, but she was in Batman v Superman as well. The first time as the character, and of course this movie, and it starred in Justice League and in Wonder Woman 1984, which this film did get a sequel, but the sequel didn't come out till Wonder Woman 1984. That didn't come out until it came out on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2020. Mm. And I know Gal Gadot is. Let's see. Yes, I know she's in this freaking Snow White remake, which again I don't really care to see, but that's just me. Not going to talk about it. Yeah, she was in Night and Day. I think that was with she got to work with Cameron Diaz, I guess, and Tom Cruise. And she got to work with like Paul Walker. She was in Triple Nine. Keeping Up with the Joneses. I still need to see that movie. Never seen that film, but Red Notice. So she's in Fast 10, so I guess she came back. She does have a cameo, and she's in for the Gods and the Flash, which I've seen those. And her playing the evil queen of Snow White, I'm like, I'm sorry. That just did not work for me. Yeah, I've seen parts when they make her look like the old witch, and it's terrible looking makeup. Remaking Snow White and Seven Dwarfs was stupid in the first place, in my opinion. But Chris Pine is Steve Trevor. He's an American pilot, and he's a spy, and he's a love interest with Diana. He comes to Themyscira. Well, he gets chased, and he ends up in Themyscira. Wonder Woman, Diana saves him, and she goes with him to the war to help him fight. Chris Pine, I'm not big on him as an actor. He's good as Steve Trevor. I'd rather have somebody else, but he was, of course, James T. Kirk in the Star Trek reboot film series. And again, I'm sorry, dude, but you're not William Shatner. Jack Ryan Shadow Crew, I thought sucked. Uh, this Means War, along with Tom Hardy, they both suck in that movie. I don't like them as actors. I like Reese Witherspoon, but I've never cared for him as an actor too much. I've never been a Chris Van Pine fan. I'm sorry. I don't mind him in this movie, but I'd rather have somebody else cast as the character. But that's just me. And Robin Wright as Anantu, the sister of Queen Apado, General of the Amazon Army. Robin Wright, if you've seen Forrest Gump, I love you, Jenny. Yeah, she was, of course, Jenny in that movie. I know she's done other movies, I know, but I always remember her as Jenny, though. Forrest Gump. And I know she was in Blade Runner 2049. I remember her in that. I think she did a movie, The Princess Bride, okay. Which I got on Disney Plus and didn't watch that. But again, I remember her as Forrest Gump as Jenny. Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson. Yeah, Beowulf, A Christmas Carol 2009, voicing the Van character and voicing Belle, Scrooge Love Interest in that movie. He was good. And of course, coming back as the character in Wonder Woman 1984, I think just in a flashback. And again, in Zack Snyder's Justice League and Blade Runner 2049, she was real good in that. That was the sequel to Blade Runner. That was a real good movie. That also came out the same year, I believe. So I guess that's why they killed off the character because she was doing another movie as well. Then you have Danny Houston as Aaron Lutenov and as General of the German Army, German World War One. Danny Houston. If you're talking about superhero movies, well, X-Men vs. Wolverine, he was in that, and that film sucked. He wasn't good in that. He's good in here though. He was in the Crow remake that came out last year, 2024. Yes, I watched that movie finally, and that film sucked. David Thurston as Sir Patrick, aka Ares, the villain of the film. Connie Nielsen as Queen Nepta, the Amazon Queen. Let's see. She was in Soldier. I remember her in 1 Hour Photo with late Robin Williams. She played the mother in that. You know, Missions to Mars. Never seen that. And she came back as the character in Wonder Woman 1984. Oh, in Justice League, the first in Justice League, in Wonder Woman 1984. David Thewlis. I don't think I've seen him in anything except this. Don't really care to be honest. This is he was like in a Harry Potter movie or something like that. Ellie Ahana as Dr. Isabel Murrah, Dr. Poison, a chemist associated with General London, and who specializes in chemistry and poisons. But she was good. I like the way they made her face and stuff. Look pretty creepy. Lucy Davis as Ida Kendi, Chief Secretary who befriends Diana. Haven't seen her in nothing else, I guess. Sandra Torres as Samuel, a secret agent in Hawaii with Steve Trevor. He was good. I don't think I've seen him in anything else. Oh, Conan the Barbarian, the remake. I'm talking about the one with Jason Momoa, not Arnold. Yeah, I've seen that film. He was in John Wick 3. Owen Byrne as Charlie. Let's see. Got a film I've seen him somewhere. He was in Judge Dredd. The Rundown. I remember him in that. He was an Irish character in that. Around the World in 80 Days. Thought he was hilarious in that. His little fight with Jackie Chan. That was hilarious, I thought. Evan Brink Rock as Chief Cook. I mean, as Chief. Blackfoot Demigod. Lisa Levan as Melvin. I believe Lieutenant and Diana's aunt. She used by the Rubber Justice League. And the director's cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It says Snyder has a brief, unbrief cameo, but okay. Alright, let's get on to the other crew that worked on this movie. Alright, it's directed by Patty Jenkins. She also directed Monster from 2003. Though I'm not a big Charlize Theron fan, she was in that. Charlize Theron was really good in that movie. Monster is based. The film is based on true story of the serial killer Eileen Warner's, a street prostitute who murdered 7 of her male clients between 1989 and 1990. It was executed in Florida in 2002. Christina Ricci was also good in that movie, but that was a good film, despite the lesbo sex scene in it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't care for that. Yeah. But again, Monster, I can see why they, Monster was good. Wonder Woman 1984 I did like, but I do have issues with it, and I do think it's a bit of a step down from the first movie, in my opinion. Screenplays by Alan Hindenburg. So let's see who's in. Well, just for Wonder Woman. Okay. Just mainly worked on TV shows like Gilmore Girls, The Catch, Hawkeye, which is Marvel. Hmm. Stories by Zack Snyder. Snyder, who started out with this DC franchise with Man of Steel, and he directed that. He directed Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Dungeons. He directed 300, I believe. Yeah. Snyder can be hit or miss sometimes. I do like Man of Steel. I keep saying I do like Man of Steel. Sucker Punch, I don't care to see. The Suicide Squad, I thought that was pretty fun. Did he direct that? No, but he was involved with it as a producer on that movie. And stories by Jason Folks. Fox, too. I can't say his name right. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. He was one of the writers on Flipper with Paul Hogan and Elijah Wood. or just had a role in it, I guess. Okay. Spooky House. Okay. Characters based on DC. Produced by Charles Roven. Has produced some other DC films too, I believe. Well, unlike DC, Cadillac Man with the late Robin Williams, 12 Monkeys starring Bruce Willis, Scooby Doo 2002, Scooby Doo Monsters Unleashed, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, this movie, Wonder Woman, and then Justice League that came out the same year. Justice League came out. This was June. Justice League, I believe, came out in November. Yeah, and that's not Justice League. Uncharted, The Suicide Squad, Deborah Snyder, who also, she's married to, she says his wife. She's worked with him on Watchmen 300. I forgot, it's not director of Watchmen. Well, probably that's my favorite superhero movie he's done was Watchmen. Yeah, Watchmen is an awesome, underrated film, in my opinion. Cinematography by Matthew Jensen, who's in cinematography for films like Chronicle. Chronicle's a Fantastic Four 2015 film. This movie, Wonder Woman, the 1984 sequel. Chronicle is I would say, found footage superhero movie. It is. And working with Josh Trank in the Fantastic Four 2015 film. Edited by Martin Walsh, who's done editing for films like uh, V for Vendetta. That's another DC movie starring Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman. It's a good film. Clash of Titans, the remake, and the sequel, which I don't really ever care to see. The 2015 remake Cinderella. This movie, Justice League, Silent Night. I think that starred what's his name? Oh, that was in Joe Kinnaman. I'm sorry. I'm looking at another movie. Music by Rupert Gretchen Williams, who's done music for films like The Prince of Egypt. Well, conductor he composed with Hans Zimmer. The Road to El Dorado, which turned 25 yesterday, by the way. Great movie, underrated film. He did the music for that movie. Well, I guess he worked on it with him and John Powell, or films that he's collaborated with other film composers on. Is what I'm talking about. Over the Edge, The Holiday, Click, and Appetite for Larry, some Adam Sandler movies. Another two more Adam Sandler movies that You Don't Mess with Zohan, You Don't Mess with Zohan, and Bedtime Stories. Grown Ups Just Go With It, Zookeeper, Some Happy Madison Pictures. Yeah, that he's worked on. Hacksaw Ridge. He's also done the music for Aquaman, Murder Mystery, so he's basically known for working with Adam Sandler. Yeah. Last Sandler movie he did, I think, was Murder Mystery 2. No, I haven't seen it. Production companies Warner Brother Pictures, DC Films, Rat Pack Done Entertainment, Attached Entertainment, Cruel and Unusual Films, distributed by Warner Brother Pictures. It was released May 26, 2017 in Panagas Theater, May 30, 2017 in Hong Kong, that's China, and June 2nd, 2017 here in the U.S. and China. Okay. The budget was $149 million. Box office made $824 million worldwide, so it was a hit. The film received critical acclaim for its direction, performances, visual story, action sequences, though some criticisms were rejected at the climax, which I agree with that. We'll get to that eventually. It's the 10th highest grossing film of 2017. The highest grossing film made by a solo female director, it was surpassed by the Chinese film Hi Mom, which I've never seen. And of course, the film got a sequel because it was a hit. Of course, because it was a huge hit. Yeah. But, okay, since I've gotten all that. So, the plot synopsis, what the story is. Like I said, the film is, I don't know, I forget how much, I think it's running time. Oh, running time of this movie is 141 minutes, about 2 hours and 29 minutes long. I know, like, she does get inspired by, I get it, Patty Jenkins, like I said, was inspired by Richard Donner, Superman. Which I guess she was going for. I thought Gail Gadot was good, and I guess she was going for it. She was trying to build up a story, you know. But anyway, but for the story of the movie of Wonder Woman, before she was Wonder Woman, right before she was Wonder Woman, we do get into the history, the origin of the character. No, we don't see her born, in a feet of clay created, by Zeus. Yeah, the 2009 movie is my favorite, by the way. Anyway, she was Diana, Princess of the Amazons, trained to be an uncomfortable warrior by her aunt. Her mother is the queen there, as you see. Uh, the actress right here, whose face I'm pointing at. And Robin Wright is like her sister. She's like the general, the army for them. And she's trained by the general here, by Robin Wright, training her to be a warrior. He's raised on a sheltered island paradise called Themyscira. Themyscira is an island full of women. Then no men are allowed. You know. So after one day though, Diana meets an American pilot, Chris Pine, who plays Steve Trevor, and she saves him in the water. He the drowns, but she saves his life. He tells her about this massive conflict that rages in the outside world. She's convinced that she can stop the threat that is Ares, god of the god Ares, who is the god of war, and he can use his influence to create all this war. And Diana believes that mankind can be saved, that there is good in mankind, and you know, again, she's naive to it, but Diana wants to go fight, thinking that if she kills Ares, she will stop war forever. The war will stop. You know, so Diana leaves her home for the first time, leaves the Themyscira, fighting alongside the men in a world to end all wars. She finally discovers her powers, her full powers, and her destiny as Wonder Woman. You know, as the hero, Wonder Woman. Yeah, and we'll get more into the plot there. And again, I'm all for female superhero movies. You know, well, this is a good story. Supergirl, I don't mind. It's not the problem with that. It's just the problem is that the movie's just not very, was like good. It is entertaining moments though. And I'm not saying this film. This film has issues too. Just like Supergirl with Helen Slater, this film has its issues too. But it is not the lead. That's the problem. It's not the director. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the movie itself, and then give you maybe some quotes to give you my final thoughts and opinions or something popped up. We're 37 minutes in. Okay, we'll get to the start talking. Talking about the freaking film. Yeah. But the film opens up in present day at Paris, France, where you see Diana Prince, Gail Gadot. She's walking, going to her work, something like that. And then you see this truck that's a Wayne Enterprises truck. No, we don't see Bruce Wayne in this movie, which is fine. This is not a Batman film, so yeah. And she says, "Misty." Because she gets this photograph from World War One, received from McCoy by Wayne Enterprises, and recalls her past. And you do hear his narration a little bit of Bruce Wayne. It could be Ben Affleck, it could be somebody else just voicing him. But anyway, she tells him a story. So Diana was born and raised on the hidden island of Themyscira, home to the Amazon race, created by the gods of Mount Olympus, to protect humankind against the corruption of Ares, the god of war. Zeus created humans, and yeah, this goes into Greek mythology and stuff. That it was Zeus until his brother, his son Ares, believed that mankind was bad, so he started bidding to fight Amazon, including the queen, Diana's mother. They fought as well. They were good warriors, and Zeus gave them Themyscira for protection. And Zeus had to strike down Ares, and they believed Ares to be dead, or he could still be alive. And you see a young Diana, a little girl Diana, is being trained. She wants to become a warrior. She wants to fight. I do like the scene where she's watching, and I love the way Themyscira looks. It kind of reminds me of Asgardian looks. Asgard looks a little bit. So it does take some hints from Thor as well, I think. And the thing was with Captain America, I meant the World War One or whatever, something like that, World War Two, like with Captain America. It takes a bit from Thor too, but I love the way Themyscira looks. It looks beautiful. It looks very well shot. I love the cinematography in this movie. Diana, she's like fighting, she's like watching them. Robert Wright could see that little warrior in her and Diana, and she's a cute little girl. She really runs, and she almost falls and gets hurt, but her mom catches her. It tells her about the war, tells her about, the god killer that is the sword, tells her the story of Zeus and Ares. And there's one day where Robin Wright is training her. She's like, "You hold back, Diana." Diana's like she's like a little girl, maybe like 10 years old, I would say, or I would say 6 or 7, something like that. But then you see her like she's like 15, becoming a teenager, and she trains Diana more. But she forbids her daughter from training. She's like, "Diana, you okay? You were training? You disobey me." I was like, "Diana, go home, go." She doesn't want her daughter to train. She doesn't want to be involved. She's seen the ugliness of the war, but Diana thinks she'll be careful. Says, "I'll be careful, mother." And Robin Wright, she tells Ares, one day she will return. Ares will return one day. You gotta see that. She was like, and it may just nothing that'll never happen. She won't listen. And then you have in 1918, Diana, now a young woman, this time, fully grown Gal Gadot. She's training. She puts up a good fight, and she fights with Robin Wright. He's like, hold back. And this one, she's at the braces, because Wonder Woman has the braces. You know, on her arms there, the braces and stuff, which I thought was really cool. She's like, oh, and she could have really hurt her. And upset by this, she just walks away. She's just looking at the water, and she sees this pilot flying his plane that is Captain Steve Trevor, and he crashes in the water. He's trying to get a plane, but he's stuck. He's about to drown, but Diana saves him, and you know, kind of gives him a smack a little bit, and he gets to the water. He's like, "Oh, you're a man." And he's like, "Yeah, last time I checked." They're just talking, and they're like, "Get away from her," And then all of a sudden, Diana's soon invaded by these landing party of these German soldiers who are pursuing Steve, after him, which we find out a little later. But anyway, they come to the fight. The some of the demonstrators get shot, and they use, of course, they have swords and stuff, swords and bows and arrows. Which the Amazon warriors are warriors. They fight, whether even as against guns. There's a cool moment where Robin Wright, has 3 arrows and shoots 3 men with it. Diana's just standing around. Diana fights too. Each other, well, what happens is Robin Wright, spoiler alert, her character gets killed. If you've seen the movie, but like I said, oh, there were spoilers in this review, by the way. So if you've never seen Wonder Woman, the 2017 film, again, turn off this review and always read the description box below, please, because I will always mention the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want you to don't spoil the movie for yourself. But it's up to you. But anyway, she dies. She's like, Wonder Woman. She goes, she tells Diana, go fight. Go fight. Go where? She passes out, and the one that shot her, but the soldiers that shot her, they take them down, and the queen gets mad and is ready to attack Chris Pine. He's like, "Oh, it's not his fault. He didn't do this. Why you dress like them?" And he's like, "I can't tell you that. I can't tell you my name." But they make him the lasso of truth. Lasso, it compels you to tell the truth. When it's on you, it burns on you a little bit, and if you tell the truth, like Steve Trevor, I'm a spy. He reveals to them that World War One is raging. He's like, the world isn't that he's now a spy. He stole a notebook from this Dr. Poison and this general, played by Danny Houston. He's just going as a spy. This book has no, it has information from the Spanish chief chemist, also known as the poison, which is attempting to get injure a deadly form of mustard gas under the orders of her general, Danny Houston. That she'll release it, it'll kill a lot of people, women and children, and they're trying to stop this war from continuing. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, they're trying to stop this war from continuing. But the book has secrets in it. They try to go after him, and that's when the Germans, and that's when the stuff with Skin Obscura happens. So Diana says, it is Ares. We were trained to fight. We need your help. I said, well, this ain't our problem. That's the man's problem. Men are cruel. You know, well, it's because it's Aries. Yeah. So Diana, doesn't want to see her mom, so she gets her Wonder Woman costume. She grabs a sword, a shield, a lasso, and her suit of armor, and to find her mother. And she talks to see Trevor about ending the war. That he's taking a nice bath, and he's like, "So how would you say you're a man? And how you are as a man, or whatever?" He's like, "I'm above average," something like that. And he's like, "Oh, you show me the island. You show me where to go to the war." Mm. Before she leaves, her mom tries to stop her, but he's like, "Well, not doesn't try to stop her." But Queen comes like, "Diana, if you go, you're not able to go back." And it's a sad moment there. And she also gives her the bracelet, you know, that she puts on her head that she can use to fight as well. You know, the two are just sitting on the boat chatting and talking about, oh, you talking about reproductors? Like, she's like, I was created from feet of clay by the god Zeus. And it's like, well, man and woman love each other. They get married. What's marriage? Marriage is when two people, have a circle, the ring, and the death part. They, go before a judge and do that, or a preacher. Well, they do it. It's like they just do. And he's a little awkward to see this time. I mean, who would not be tempting to want to get into bed with, get into bed with Yogi Dot? I think any man, any guys, just come on, guys, we want to, right? You know what I mean. The two arrive in London, Diana's, and so they're just walking around, and she's got her one costume on. He's just taking it off, and I thought it was funny. She's like, "Oh, baby," She's always like, "No, Diana, no, Diana." And all the men that look at her, even Wilson was like, "Diana, no, you can't dress like that." So he takes her to his assistant, secretary, and she's like, "Where I'm from, that's called slavery." He's like, "Oh, I like that already." Diana dresses on one, it doesn't work. She prays for her. She's like, "How can I fight in this?" Lady doesn't fight in this. So I don't see her here, but she kind of dresses like over the hat and a coated jacket, like she's kind of a like a private detective, investigator, or something like that. But Stephen, they report the findings to his superior officers. The War Department, they kind of slow down. Uh, yeah, but they're talking about that they're not going to help. That men do this was just like, and Diana gets them like, why should they die? Why should they die? Why you won't help? Why would they help? And he's like, Diana, I'm telling the truth. You know, we gotta, that his general, they tell him no, that you'll find out about this poison, but we're not going to do anything about it. So he goes against his wishes. He discovers the location of Danny Houston's character and the gas. They weren't related rape, but they did not by the war committee. On hearing this, Diana voices her outrage. He's going to do it regardless. They go to this local tavern where they recruit the help of Hamir. He's an actor turned sly. But the funny thing about him now is he tries to hug Diana. And then, of course, who would not want to hug, who would not want to hug this woman, right? He tries to hug her. There's one character, Charlie, who's nice from Marksman. Charlie's the drunk all the time. He's a good singer, by the way. Charlie used to fight with a guy over a feud over something. There's rumors for Samar. He flirts with Diana. And this guy tries to have a gun. Diana grabs him with a gun, knocks his ass out. There's even a scene before they get to the war committee about the book, by the way. It kind of reminded me of Superman the movie a little bit, where the back alley. It reminds me of Superman the movie where he catches the bullet. And Wonder Woman, she fights a few guys off. She tries to question one guy with lots of truth, but it doesn't work because the guy, you know. Oh, and Eddie Candy, she ends up taking also behind a shield and sword, guarding it with her life for some way. But the guy uses cyanide to kill himself, so they don't get nothing. They go to the war committee. Like I mentioned before, they they go to the tavern, get Samara and Charlie. Sir Patrick Morgan, who depicted him, who, despite being a member of the committee, refused the request to raid. He supports the idea. He's like, I would do the same thing if I was your age, young man. They travel to, Diana, Steve, Samir, and Charlie. They travel to Brooklyn, where they meet up with Steve's contact, Chief, a Native American trader and smuggler. Yeah. Charlie's having a nightmare. Diana's like, it's okay. So he's like, get off me, woman. He's like, don't take it more control. He doesn't mean it. Yeah. You know, they go into the trench, more into the warfare area. And she's like, they're being mean to the animal. Why are they doing that? Or, we need to have the men, something you do about them. She sees men that are injured and, some that have their legs cut off. And it's really bad. Of course, it's war. It's hell. And she wants to end it. She's like, it's what I'm going to do. She puts the cap on her head. And let's get the moment we got in the trailer where she gets ready to fight, which is a badass moment. So she goes to him with her shield. I like it when she just has that badass walk and they shoot at her. She hits the bullet with a brace and is running toward them and with the shield. And it gets a bomb being thrown out from her. Goes in there and fights them, which is cool. As soon as you get Wonder Woman to action, yeah, it takes an hour to do it maybe, but again, it builds up because I think it has an interesting story. Because again, I like Gal Gadot. Again, I can see why people sometimes don't like Chris Pine though. He's all right in here, but I do like Gal Gadot. They push the Germans back. She puts a pretty good fight. I like it when she jumps in the building scene, looks around, fights some guys off, like a badass moment. You got the Wonder Woman theme playing, and Charlie's hesitant to shoot this one sniper. So Diana, they use the shield, so she uses her ability to jump there. She can jump real quick too. Wonder Woman has that super strength, and she can flip at high speeds too. Just to see her fight was awesome. But then after they win the fight, everybody thanks them. They're successful. That was awesome. Diana and then Steve and then the rest of the group, they spend the night in the village. Diana and Steve, share a dance together. They try to talk to about going to the party to find Danny Houston, but Sir Patrick, the gentleman that is part of the work committee, tells him no. But he's like, "You're breaking up, sir. You're breaking up." Ignores him. They're gonna go anyway. Diana and Steve share a dance and also share a kiss that night. Yeah, yeah. And then the next day, in the morning, they proceed to the castle where Danny Houston is hosting this party, celebrating the fire the new gas from Dr. Poison and Danny Houston. I forgot to mention Danny Houston's scene where he, is like, man, you're tired of complaining, and then he shoots one of his own men down for complaining, and he wants to cause more war, causes gas, but the Germans don't want to do that, so he uses them as test subjects. Dr. Poison's behind the door. He just walks back outside the door. She throws the poison in there. He's like, well, what's for the mask? But they can't use it anyway. Laughing about it. And that's where you get to the party scene. Well, Diana, you know, Steve goes on being a spy. You know, instead of being an actor, they would have fooled them. He's like, you telling me we're coming all this way, 100,000 miles, and you forget my invitation? Come on, buddy, let's go. And Diana sees this woman walk in, follows her, you know, because they want her to stay. But she can't go in just like this. It'd be too convenient. Never know something happening. She shows her, and that's where she's got the the blue dress scene, but she looks beautiful and she's got a knife. And she thinks that, believes that Danny Houston, is the Ares. The scene where he grabs her and dances with her. Steve enters the ballroom, meets Dr. Poison, prompts her for information that might be useful. He's like, I can help you very well, yes. I'm interesting if you come to work for me. My name is General this. He's pretending to use the voice and pretending to be another general, German general. Because he's like, she wanted, apparently your interest lies somewhere else. And I'm loyal to General Danny Houston, So she walks away. He tries to tell Diana to stop. She nearly gets ready to kill him. But he stops her. He's like, Diana, no, 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 this ain't the way. You can't do this shit. You know. But then Danny Houston requires a new gas at the battle lines. It kills thousands of troops from both sides and civilians as well, including women and children. Diana, tries to race her real quick, but it's too late. Smoke has no effect on her. She's a goddess, so and she blames Steve. Like, "Well, you stay away from me. This is your fault. You're not gonna stop me again." And she heads off to kill him. She goes to the castle. She gets attacked, but she's able to fight some of them off, of course. Diana's able to fight her way inside, and she confronts him, saying, you know, but he didn't. He's just got like this trait that Dr. Poison gave him, and it gives him super strength. And he fights with a Wonder Woman. They get into a fight, which again, Danny Houston puts a pretty good fight. But she's like, I'm Diana Prince. He's like, who are you? You will soon find out. I'm Diana Prince, Wonder Woman of Themyscira, daughter of his queen, and she kills him with a knife. Finally, Stephen and others will gain access to disable the aircraft carrying the gas. Thinking his death will release the world from Mary's warm glowing, but seeing Steve and the others still fighting with German troops, she realizes that the war is not over and that killing Ares didn't help out. She noticed another Sir Patrick Morgan inside the tower, and spoiler, Sir Patrick reveals himself to be the god of Ares. He's Ares, the god of war. She tries to kill him, but the blade breaks. He just tries to stab at him. Again, Ares is a bit of a fight. He's got his own metal. He shows his gollyhood. He tries to get Vince to join his side. He says that Dan is the guy who killed that. Only a god can kill a god. Apparently, Ares is also her brother because Zeus is her father and Zeus is Ares' father, so it makes them brother and sister. He tells Dinah reason to start the war and what hope to gain from it. Samir informs Steve that the bomb carried on the plane or timer will explode, regardless of where the plane is. It'll kill a bunch of people. Charlie and Chief distract the remaining German while Steve chases the plane, manages to enter it. He thinks that the world will be a better place. They repeat it like, no. And she refuses to listen to him, and they fight. Again, he puts up a good fight with her. It's a pretty tough fight, I'll give him that. They fight though, and she has used Dr. Poison like kill this woman. You know, Dr. Poison, she's up in death, and she saw, Steve got killed her. She's like, Steve, no, and she gets mad. He's like, come on, Diana, get mad, and knocks all these men out real fast, or running, and she's ever, remember what Steve said? Steve said he loved her before he died, realizing love is the way to win the war. Love is the true way of winning something, you know, that is love, and so he tries to give her a shot, electrocute her, but it doesn't work. She has electric powers, and she's like, "Goodbye, brother." Fights him off and destroys Ares. This is what area looks like, though. Yeah, yeah. And I like it, when she is up in the sky flying a little bit. It's like when she's like about brother. She frees from mental and aggressive composes therapy, ending and ends the war. Diane returns to London and meets Eddie Kennedy during the victory celebrations. Everybody's happy. I think it was a time of real life where when the war was ending, everybody was celebrating and kissing and stuff. She noticed a memorable wall with the heart of celebrations, and Steve was on there, and she looked sad. And I felt very sad for Diana. You know, he's back in the prison day. She sends Bruce Wayne an email thanking him for returning the photo to her, and Harry determines to start. She heads to the roof. She hears the disturbance. She puts on her Wonder Woman costume. She accepts that it's love to win the war, and she was naive then. And no, you can't just stop war. You have to have love in your heart. You know, because no matter what you do, you can't always just stop them. No matter how powerful she is, she can't always save everybody. You know, Wonder Woman was almost powerful as Superman, and Superman can't save everybody either. You know, but at the end though, she gets her suit. It's like this is who I am, and Professor her destiny as Wonder Woman in a shoe, and she leaps off the roof into with her suit, badass mode ending, and continues her destiny as Wonder Woman, fighting the good fight. That's what she do. She fights for good, and by helping people and fighting for good, fighting for justice, and that's what she does. And then the movie ends there. Yeah, I used to want to save the world. The beautiful place, but I know so London is a land of magic and wonder, but cherishing in every way. But the closer you get, the more you see the great darkness shimmering within. And mankind is another story altogether. But one day when faced with truth is more difficult than you think. I learned the hard way a long time ago, and now I will never be the same. What does it when faced with truth is? I used to want to save the world, to end war and bring peace to mankind, but then the glimpse of the darkness that lives within the light. I learned that inside every one of them, there will always be both. Choice each must take for themselves. Something new. Hero will never defeat, and I know now. The only love can truly save the world. The only love can truly save the world. So I now stay fight, and I give for the world, and now I can be. This is my mission now, forever. My father told me once. He said, "See something wrong happen in the world, you can't do nothing, or you can do something." And I try something with a German accent. I love fire, don't you? It's like a living act of intimacy, the ultimate weapon of destruction, reminding us that in the end of everything eventually returns the ash it came from. I am talking to you in front. We're probably gonna die. This is a terrible idea. It has to be me. I can save the day. I wish I had more time. And I liked it though when he's telling Diana, well, some people are just bad. They just are. You know, in their hearts, they just are. Never let your guard down. You expect a battle to be fair. A battle will never be fair. Ah, you know your ancient gods. Okay, anyway. Really spikes, and suddenly she's not the most beautiful one you've ever seen. How long till we reach the war? The war, which part? The Western Front of France, 400 miles long from the North to sea. When the fighting is the most intense. Then, if you take me there, I'm sure I'll find Ares. Ares is the god of war, responsibility. Only numbers are going to be him with this. And once I do, the war will end. Appreciate your spirit, but this is a war is a great big mess. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, go back to London. Try to look for men who I can. I'm the a man who can. And once I will find short areas, general armies, German armies will be free from all the fluids. And they will be good men again, and the world will be better. Great, you'll see. This is no melodyne. It means no man can cross it, alright? The battle between them for nearly a year, and they've barely gained an inch. On the other side, there's a bunch of Germans potting pointing machine guns at the square inch of this place. There's not something you can cross. It's not possible. So what? We do nothing? No, we are doing something. We're just We can't save everyone in this war. This is not what we came here to do. But it's no, but it's what I'm going to do. This is what people do when they go to wars to fight. Yeah. Fair. Okay. Let me give my final opinion on this film. About to be done, folks. But Wonder Woman. Starring Gal Gadot. I love this movie. This is really good. I liked it. Well, why? Before I get to my problems, though, first of all, I do like the movie. I do enjoy it. I do think it's entertaining, but that's just my opinion. I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Not only is she beautiful, but I think she does good. Yeah, people, she has a different accent, but that's because I think she's from a different country, I believe. Yeah. Well, let's see, Gal Gadot. Yeah, she's an Australian actress. Australians. Yeah. So that's why her voice sounds a little different, you know. Yeah, Wonder Woman is triumphant. I agree. It is. It's very entertaining. I like how the story of Diana, that first that she's a strong heroine, that she wants to fight, that she's a good warrior, that she has a human heart, that she has a heart, that she is all about love, and she's kind, and she's a sweet woman, and yeah, everything a woman appreciates. But she can be that fight. I think that Gal Gadot plays all those parts very well. Patty Jenkins, I was just wanted to give us an origin story. I like seeing her in Themyscira. Themyscira, like I said, looks very beautiful in this movie. Um, I like the way that Themyscira looks, and the cast is pretty good. Except Chris Pine, he's alright, but everybody else is really good, or does fine. Patty Jenkins, I thought did a good job directing. I can see her directing more female superhero movies. I would definitely go for that. Screenplay I thought was good. Um, Cinematography, like I said, and the editing I thought was good. The action scenes I thought were good. Yeah, Wonder Woman was because she's very quick in her fighting skills, but the action, yeah, you can say Zack Snyder. There were some slow motion shots though. But when Wonder Woman's in action, trust me, it's worth the wait. You're following Diana on this journey. You go fight the God of Earth. You follow the journey. Like I said, that's the expression of Richard Donner Superman. That it's just going by origin by seeing Diana young, as a young girl growing up to become a warrior, being a princess, and then eventually becoming Wonder Woman. The the film slowly builds on that, which I don't mind. You know, and I thought the cinematography was good. The music score, the Wonder Woman theme, dan 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 dan, the Woman theme is very cool. And I thought the story was good and interesting, and see how war plays out. Diana sees the real truth in war that it's not just Ares, but it's mankind just loves to fight, loves to go to war. It's all over anger in their hearts, you can just say, but there's always war for many different reasons. There just is. In this world, there's always war and hatred for one another. And you get to see the ugly side of it in war. You know, and the film definitely proves that. But it's very entertaining to watch. It does have when the humor's there. Love the Itty Candy character, the actress I thought was really funny. Wonder Woman, her suit looks very cool. She's been fighting and she's in action. I thought the actress that played the Queen, she did a good job. Robin Wright, I thought did a great job. Hate that a character died, but I get it. That was okay. Chris Pine's alright. Danny Houston I thought was actually pretty good. I felt he was in a good superhero. David Thewlis, Pine Nelson, the other actresses in this movie were also good, and actors as well. The one that plays Samar, Samar, Charlie, and the Chief, they were good. I thought. You know, cinematography very nice. I love how the Mascara looks. Their skin looks very beautiful. It looks nice on screen. Uh, seeing the Mascara in live action is very cool. You know, and I think the film is very entertaining to watch all the way through. Now let me get to my problems. My problem is Chris Pine is okay, but again, I've never been a fan of him as an actor too much. I get it. Some of you say he has looks, but again, he can't. He's no Captain Kirk to me. Yeah, William Shatner, who as the films went on, he did get a little bit overweight, but he still was Captain Kirk regardless of how he looked. Chris Pine to me is just. I'm sorry, he doesn't have the chops for Captain Kirk. I'm sorry. Nor does he do for Steve Trevor. I can definitely see Nathan Fillion maybe playing, our, Nathan Fillion, I think who voiced the character before. I can see him as Steve Trevor, being more of a smart and wise ass. Is definitely better in my opinion. I think it was Michelle Monaghan. No, it wasn't Michelle. It was another actress. I know her damn name. Carrie Russell. I know the actress name, but I'm not looking up. But who voiced Wonder Woman 2009 movie? It's definitely better than Yoga But Yoga I thought was good. You know, for her being the main lead, we're supposed to care about her, and we do. But the thing is, the also problem, God varies himself. The guy who plays the villain, I'm sorry, he was lame. And I hate that, oh, it wasn't Danny Houston who's the villain, but it's something like, so why do we need to be surprised? Alfred Molina, who voices the character in 2009 film, to me, he was intimidating. He was a threat. You know, he's very tall, and he was a threat. A bigger threat. Even the Justice League cartoon, Wonder Woman had to save her mother, and she had to go up against that guy that was a monster. I forget who it was, but was more scarier than this guy. But Ares should be scary and intimidating villain, and he wasn't here. The CGI from like he's just some British guy, who I'm sorry, who I thought was terrible. The climax. Yeah, I agree with the critics. The climax in here was poorly done, in my opinion. The villain is lame. He's bland, boring. You made Ares boring. The 2009 movie, he wasn't boring. He was more of a bigger threat, in my opinion. This theory just puts me to sleep. You know, the climax I thought was done poorly. I don't think they need to kill Steve Trevor off anyway. That just seemed like a fast get. You didn't need to really kill the character off. You can still somewhat use him in other carnations. You know, I don't know why. Why couldn't it just been Danny Houston? Danny Houston, I could definitely see as somebody crazy. Yeah, Aries, but no, they decided to change that. They because probably Zack Snyder took inspiration from Christopher Nolan. Dark Knight Rises. Oh, it's not really Bane who was the villain. It was Talia al Ghul, the racist daughter of the whole long. So why do we do this in movies? Just tell me who the damn villain is. Don't surprise me at the end. I hate it when movies do that. Sometimes it works. In this case, it didn't. If it's just you can still have a main villain if somebody else is a villain. Like the only movie that comes to mind is Air Force One with Harrison Ford. When we know the guy's the villain, then he reveals it at the end. If you've seen Air Force one of the Secret Service men who was working with Gary Oldman's character in the movie, we knew it. Yeah, I don't, or Cellular when it was one of the when it was William H's partner in that movie, he was working with the bad guys. He sometimes it can be well done, but don't hide the main villain. You can have somebody else be like a side villain or whatever, but don't or secondary antagonist, which is fine with me. But when it comes to the main villain, show me the main villain. You know, or even Paul Blart Mall Cop. You found out the cop that's helping them is actually a villain too, working with the villains, which is fine. You know, it works sometimes, and it doesn't. But and the climax was pretty boring. I thought. I mean, Medina's in action is cool, but it wasn't Yogi that was the problem. It was just the writing I thought was poor, killing off Steve Trevor. It was good, some good action in there, but you need a better climax, a better villain that's intimidating. A villain should be as great as the hero or heroine at this case. If he is not, or if it's a villainess, if the villain's not great, then that's a problem for me. Yeah, but other than that, though, despite the climax, it's still an entertaining movie. Gal Gadot makes it watchable for me because she's real good. You know, and when the action scenes take place with Wonder Woman, it's awesome to see her in battle. Yeah, it takes a while, but again, I like that they're building an origin story. It's in, like I said, Patty Jenkins takes inspiration from Richard Donner. Yeah, it takes Superman a while to enter into the picture, but again, you have like Gene Hackman, who is great as Lex Luthor, perfectly cast as Lex Luthor, in my opinion. Yeah, you got to have a great villain. If you don't have that, then oof, yeah, that's a big problem for me. That's why that I still say Wonder Woman's a good movie, but despite those issues I have with it, with Chris Pine is miscast in my opinion. You didn't need to kill the character of Steve Trevor. You needed a better villain. Don't surprise me with this ain't the villain. This is the real villain. Don't do that. I hate that. You know. Yeah, Ares should be an intimidating and threatening villain, and here he's not, in my opinion. And if Ares is the god of war, which he is, he needs to be a bigger threat. You gotta have a bigger threat from, somebody that's menacing and torture, like Heath Ledger's Joker. He's menacing and a great, memorable villain. Yeah, who plays Ares here? No, his suit was. And some of the CGI, there's some CGI shots in here that do not hold up, or look really bad in my opinion. Ares look bad in CGI when they shoot him in the CGI. But anyway, Wonder Woman, despite that, I still enjoy this movie. I still think it's good. I still think it's better than Batman v Superman. I probably say I like Man of Steel more than this. That's just me. I like the same Man of Steel as of now for DCU. These are the Man of Steel in this one. I like. I'll defend Man of Steel, but it is better than Batman v Superman, and especially Suicide Squad. At least one thing I'll say about Ares, he's not doing a dance or anything. You know, yeah. But still, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice has shitty villains, and Suicide Squad had a shitty villain. This movie does too have a shitty villain. But anyway, despite that, still an entertaining movie. Gal Gadot makes it watchable. Pageant direction is good. It's got a good story. You just needed a you just needed a better climax, in my opinion. Other than that, though, this is still an entertaining movie. So my rating for Wonder Woman 2017, starring Gal Gadot, directed by Patty Jenkins, my rating for this film is a thumbs up and 4 to 5 stars for Wonder Woman 2017. So guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of Wonder Woman for 2017, starring Gal Gadot, whatever. Do you like it or do you hate it? What do you think of this film in your opinion? Just be honest. Again, if you hate the film, we agree to disagree. But again, like I said, I do have problems with it, which I mentioned in this review. So tell me what you think about Wonder Woman. Again, my rating for this film is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. So tell me what you think about this movie in the comments down below, guys. And stay tuned for the next superhero review, probably today. Yeah, this is another Marvel review. This is the would it be the 16th MCU film? I need to look it up. And this one came out in July. This is the 16th film in the MCU, starring the web slinger himself, starring Tom Holland, Michael Keaton. Yeah, stars Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Jon Favreau, Gwyneth Paltrow, Sedana, Donald Glover, Marissa Tomei, and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And that is the first one of this franchise. Now we're getting probably a new Spider-Man movie eventually. It's a Spider-Man movie, and that is, of course, many years after Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 that came out in 2014. This was 2017 in July, and that is Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, it's all upside down. The words they put upside down. When the character made his debut, appearance in Captain America Civil War. And now Spider-Man gets his own movie, and that's Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this was a year before. We'll talk about the Spider-Man and Spider-Verse movies as well. Just not yet. First up, start with these first. Well, 2019 was Far From Home, and 2021, I think, was in December was No Way Home. We'll get to those, but with Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, we're starting with those. We're starting with Spider-Man Homecoming. Of course, this is the first one. So, and the next MCU film. So the 16th film in the MCU. Spider-Man Homecoming is next. So stay tuned, guys. As I will swing my way into this review, and I'll web crawl on the internet pretty here soon to let you know about it. That was stupid and made no sense. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for my review of Spider-Man Homecoming coming up next. And my rating for Wonder Woman is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments down below what do you think of this movie in the comments down below, guys. And stay tuned for my review for Spider-Man Homecoming coming up next. See you soon. No, I'm just kidding. No, Wonder Woman. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.